episode 3 of the Alternatives to High School podcast, and I am your host, Coach Terry. Today's episode is Reconnecting with Your Teen. So today we're going to tackle a topic that many parents find really challenging. Understand that you can use these techniques with all of your children, no matter what their age is, but as the kids get into the adolescence and they get into high school and there's high school issues and challenges and anxieties, I find that a lot of parents, myself included when that was going on with me, there's a gap in the communication and they feel like it's getting wider and wider and wider, and that connection has been completely lost. So why is it important that you have a connection with your teen or your child? Because without this connection, you really can't truly partner and support them in their education and their life. So today I want to give you the steps to build this bridge with your child, and they include active listening, creating a drama-free zone, not taking anything they do personally or say, and cultivating positivity and rebuilding that connection. So let's start with active listening. What is that? Active listening is more about comprehending versus hearing, right? So we want to listen with our ears, not with our mouths. It's really difficult when a child tries to open up to us and tell us how they're feeling and we get defensive and we start spewing stuff. So what we want to do is practice and learn how to just listen to the child say what they want to say. We want to maintain eye contact. We want to nod while they're talking to show that we are engaged with what they're saying. We don't want to be defending ourselves. We don't want to be listening with the intent to understand. So we want to understand and not reply. We don't want to, as they're talking, be building up our defense or be building up an argument about it, or telling them how they should feel, not allowing them to express how they actually do feel. We want to paraphrase their words when they're done. Let them talk. Zip it, right? Be quiet and listen. And then when they're done, paraphrase their words. Say it back. So I understand you feel, or I understand this, this is how you interpret this. Whatever that is, paraphrase back to them what they told you. And what does this do? Why is this so important? It ensures that you understand, because if you are misunderstanding, that gives them an opportunity to go, no, that's not what I meant. This is what I meant. And then we listen again and we try to get it right. It validates their feelings and it shows that you value their input. So this is a setup for trust and communication when we actively listen. The next thing we want to talk about is becoming a drama-free zone. So we as parents, we need to be the calm in the center of that storm. We have to establish ourselves as the drama-free zone. And so what does that look like? Well, that looks like not allowing ourselves to get pulled into the drama. We want to keep calm. And if the discussion is getting too much and we find that we want to interject with something that's not positive, then we pause the discussion, right? If it's a heated thing and they're trying to engage you, you can simply turn around and walk away. You can tell them, hey, later, right? We want to prevent ourselves from saying hurtful things. We want to stop ourselves from doing that, even though they're throwing that stuff at us. We'll talk about not taking things personally in a minute, but we want to maintain respect. I hear parents all the time, it's like our children should respect our adults, blah, 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 blah. That's not true. Children are going to emulate the respect. They're going to emulate a lot of things, right? They emulate emotional regulation. They're learning from us, adults, how to be respectful, how to regulate our emotions. And as adults, we get to, in moments where we are having trouble regulating our emotions, right? And that's okay, because it's a thing. So we need to learn to walk away, to let things calm down, and to obtain that respect. And one of the things we can do with our kids is when we're not engaged in a heated thing, when there isn't drama, when things are cool, work with your child to develop a communication strategy. Let them come with some of the ideas and create a cool off rule so that as things heat up, if they're getting a little too overamped, you can use a word or a phrase or just even cool off. Hey, we need to cool off. We'll come back to this later when we're calm. And then if they keep coming at you when in that moment, after you've established this and you've talked about it and you know this is what you're going to do, things are a little overamped, and you're like, okay, we're going to cool off. We're invoking the cool off rule, and we're going to come back to this when we're calm, and they want to just keep going. Then you just turn around and walk away. You've already established that it's a cool off time. Turn around, walk away. Don't get involved in the drama. Turning around and walking away was one of the biggest things that I implemented when my teen was going through all of this early on. And we had a lot of high emotions and stuff in our household. Learning to just not engage and be the calm and turning around and walk away was the biggest catalyst for change for us. And it can be absolutely huge. So that kind of brings me to the discussion about it's not about you. It's not about us. And I talk to parents about that and they're like, oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, they are making it about me. No, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about us as adults. It may sound that way. I know it sounds that way, right? But adolescence is a period of intense emotional change. They need to learn to regulate the emotions. There's hormonal changes. There's anxiety about an impending future where they are outside of this comfort zone of the family. There's so much going on in their heads. There's stresses at schools. There's peer pressure. There's so much. And it's like a volcano with the molten lava building up, and there's things that trigger them and they act out, they yell, they holler, they slam doors, they do whatever. But when we do that, when we get called into that drama like we were just talking about, we're actually showing them that, hey, that's okay. This is how we do this. We yell, we scream, we slam doors, we throw things, we pitch a fit. And so that's not what we want to be teaching the children. We want to be emulating something else. We want to understand that they're going through a whole lot of crap. And if we aren't able to emotionally regulate, that's when we need to go back down to the cool down thing. Like, hey, we all need to cool down. Turn around and walk away. Understand that no matter what, no matter how bad it sounds, it is not about you. It's not about me. It's not about us adults. It's about them. So tips to help manage these emotional changes is, number one, stay calm. It goes back to being the calm, being that calm center of that hurricane, the calm after the storm, the calm that's going to quiet the storm, right? Don't take it personally. Approach your child with empathy. Listen to what they're saying. And if they're too emotionally charged up to talk, then have the calm down and then reapproach, right? And with empathy and engage in a conversation about whatever it is that they're having an issue with. Have some patience with them. Provide a positive example in their life and learn how to de-escalate yourself if you need to, which shows them how to de-escalate themselves. So as we move along in this process, we want to cultivate positivity, right? We don't want to be hurling insults at them when they're insulting us. We want to just know that they're in that place, and we don't want to emulate that this is how this is handled, right? In between the strife, we want to focus on positive things. We want to acknowledge their efforts and celebrate their achievements. But don't just celebrate the achievements. Always acknowledge the efforts. Use encouraging words with your children. We don't want to be telling our kids they're stupid, or we don't want to be going, "What's the matter with you?" Right? They don't think like we do. They're learning, and we're supposed to be teaching them, telling them things like, you're dumb, or why, or asking, why can't you just, why can't you just apply yourself? Those are really, 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 really super hurtful for children, for their psyche and building up themselves. It does nothing but tear them down. So use encouraging words, help them, provide that scaffolding that helps them bridge whatever gap it is that you think they should be better at. Mistakes are learning opportunities, and we have a school system that teaches them that mistakes are failures, and boom, you're done. But what we want to do is let our children explore and make those mistakes, and then help them understand that those are learning opportunities. That's when we grow, when we make mistakes. We want to create a positive environment that's going to help motivate our teen. So rebuilding trust and that connection, how does that happen? Well, it happens with time and consistency. We want to be very, very consistent. We want to listen to their concerns and their issues when they have them with our listening ears. And we want to help understand what is causing the root anxiety or the root issue that they're having. We want to problem solve together. Help them with the problem solving part of this. Don't solve the problem for them. Get them thinking about how they would solve the problem. And that would include in exploring alternatives. So if your problem is about school, if it's always a fight about school, why can't you apply yourself? Why don't you turn your work in? Why can't you get up in the morning and get to school? Why do you make my life so miserable, right? Because you don't want to be at school. If the conversations are like almost always about school, then maybe consider that there's something going on and school is the problem. It's not your child, right? When you're thinking, you're so smart, I don't understand why you can't apply yourself. I don't understand why you don't study for the test, or this information. Why didn't you pass the test? We're doing nothing but adding a tremendous amount of anxiety to an already anxiety-ridden situation. So if your conversations are always about school or mostly about school, if this strife, you got to do your homework. If it's always about school, then perhaps it's time to listen to your child and let them tell you what is wrong with school, why they're having issues with school, why they can't apply themselves, as we like to say. What is it that's going on? And it's quite likely that they need an alternative. School has been proven, there are so many statistics out there to show that it does not meet the needs of the majority of the children there. The majority of the children there are really suffering. So maybe if the problems are about school and you talk to your child and it doesn't seem like there's something you can fix easily with their current schooling situation, work with them to explore alternatives and different educational paths. There are so many alternatives out there now. Microschools popping up all over the place, and all kinds of really cool alternative programs that may fit your child better and help them fall back in love with learning. So feel free to delve into that with them. Explore those paths. Don't come into it with a closed mindset. Well, I can't because I have to be home, or I have to this, or I have to that. There's options now for funding these things. There's micro schools that are much less expensive than private schools. There's so many options. So look out there for solutions that might help, and practice what we preach. We need to practice what we preach. If you want your child to respect you, you respect them. If you want your child to be calm and learn how to regulate their emotions, we have to regulate our emotions. We have to show them what calm looks like and how to get there. I hope some of this was helpful to you. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to me. There's a ton of different ways to reach out with me. You can even schedule an appointment and talk to me directly. I'm always happy to talk to parents and help them navigate this journey with their child. So thank you. Remember that understanding, patience, and positivity are your allies in this journey. Join us next time as we continue to explore the world of parenting and education. And until then, keep building bridges with your child.
Thank you for being here with us today. The ALT2HS Spotlight podcast is for anyone interested in alternative education models, those questioning the traditional school system, and those looking to inspire learners to take control of their educational journey. Together, we will uncover the potential of self directed learning and how it can shape a more fulfilling, personalized education for every learner. Stay tuned for more exciting, enlightening, and transformative glimpses into the world of self directed education. Subscribe or follow if you want to learn more about this process. Share if you know folks who can use a fresh alternative for their children's education. Thank you again, and we'll see you the next time.